how important were Western firms like BP, Shell, and Exxon in the development of Russia's energy industry?
Oh, they were hugely important because after the collapse of the Soviet Union at the beginning of the 1990s and the huge restructuring of Russian business and Russian government that took place, using foreign capital and foreign expertise was absolutely crucial to propping up the dilapidated Soviet industry and developing further resources to meet growing demand for oil and gas around the world. So the likes of BP and Shell and the others, as you mentioned, has been very, very important for Russia.
So does Russia still need these companies to develop its industry, or can it stand on its own now and continue to make money off its exports?
Well, in theory, Russia could take over the projects which are currently invested in by the companies that you've mentioned. It's not as if suddenly the whole of the Russian industry is going to collapse. But obviously that places greater strain on Russia's own resources and their ability to develop these resources without access to Western capital, without access, very importantly, actually, to Western technology and best practice. So if BP and the other companies do literally leave Russia in the period to come, then it poses a huge challenge to Russia. And the challenge is particularly, I guess, galling to the Russian industry, because we all know that demand for oil and gas is going to continue to grow for many years to come. And if Russia can produce it and can export it, then there is a huge ready market.
Now, speaking of that oil demand, we're seeing Brent now back above $100 a barrel. And there's an OPEC meeting this week. What do you expect these nations, these oil exporters, to do? How are they accounting for the crisis in Ukraine?
Well, as far as the meeting of the OPEC Plus countries, which is due to take place tomorrow, these days, of course, the meetings take place virtually. They take place every month. And that means there is enormous flexibility on the part of the OPEC countries and their non-OPEC partners led by Russia, enormous flexibility to not necessarily take any action tomorrow, but they can meet again at any time, thanks to the virtual format that we've gotten used to. I would be very surprised if tomorrow there is any change to the existing OPEC Plus agreement. The only likely surprise, I think, could be if countries like Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Iraq, and one or two others that have spare production capacity, they may say that they are willing to step in if Russian supplies to the market are indeed curtailed. But we may be getting a little bit ahead of ourselves there.
All right. Neil Atkinson, thank you for joining us from Paris.